talk about the Row Summer 2024 collection. I had done a detailed review for spring, and people have been asking me when summer would be reviewed, and I could have done it a while ago, but the reason I like to wait is because I like to time it for when the collection drops in the store and starts to appear online. I think it's more meaningful and more useful to have this information come out then versus earlier. A lot of you follow me on Instagram, and you'll know that right after the collection is released and the images are posted on Vogue, I do my review, and it really just captures my immediate impressions, and I do my groupings, as you know, themes, because that really does help me with my review. Not only that, it helps a lot with my wish list, because every season they do a bunch of things that I want. I can't have it all, and when I do the groupings, it just becomes a little more clear to me what items I think I need to round out my collection. This is summer 2024, and if you want the fancy words, you can visit my Instagram post and you'll see what I've written there. And but let me just say that one of the things that I loved about this collection so much was that it was such a mood. As soon as you see like the 5 or 6 of the images, if you can very quickly tell that the theme or the mood is luxury resort, spa, vacation. It just says rest and relaxation, and there's a lot of wearable pieces as well, a lot of looks that I could see myself wearing in the summer. You might recall that I talked about how spring was unusual. It was a very different collection for them. It had some high and some low, but it was actually more practical. And I feel like summer 2024 is also very practical. I do take a very good look at the first look always, because I feel like it gives me clues as to where the rest of the collection is headed. And I love that first look because it's a summer collection and there's a coat. And that's what's cool about the Row. Whether it's plus 20 or minus 20, there is a coat. Now, mind you, the fabrication is much lighter and it'll be breathable, and I mean, even the designers, I guess, in the middle of summer, often they're wearing big coats and sometimes hats, and a lot of the commentary on those posts are how, like, I was in New York and it was so hot, how are they wearing it like that? But it's very cool, it's very chic, and they do it very well. And so that first look, the first look has a lot of their codes in it, and rather than get into all the code dissection again with you, I did that in the spring video. I'll just say that it's minimal, it's sleek, it's a little oversized, and it has the jewel of the collection, the jellies, which is the standout piece, the one that's already trending, and the ones that sold out within minutes of them dropping onto the site, the ones that have already been duplicated by a bunch of high street shops, and not as well in my mind, other than the Massimo Dutti pair, which were gorgeous, and they were done in leather. I snagged a pair of those. Those were good. That is really the key piece of the collection, the one that is the editorials have picked up on, and they're a blast from the past. Not only do we get to see the Mara jelly right away, but we see it in that gorgeous red. Really love the color of the red in this collection, in the coats, in the shoes. We've talked about this before. Red is very Mary-Kate, but red has this transformational power in an all black outfit in a way that other colors don't. And I think it's just such a sharp contrast when the vibrancy of this red is at this level, and very nice for summer for someone like me who still likes to wear black but doesn't want to offend the observer, because I know a lot of people say, just looking at you, I'm hot. So throw a pop of red in it. And then very sneaky and in this very stealth way, they put a Margot clutch in the model's hand, folded over. You can barely tell what it is, and that says everything. That first look says everything about the Row, and it's a good lead-in for this collection, and it's where I'll start my review. So the collection is, as I said, it's very chill, but it's an elevated chill. The models were padding around in those beautiful hotel-like slippers, and towels were wrapped around their necks. The styling is, as always, impeccable. The elbow-anchored bracelets were something that I was immediately and continue to be very excited about. I did try them on in the showroom, and they're really beautiful, and the jewelry's incredible. The entire jewelry offering now, just the expansion of it, it's really exciting me, because when you may not feel like you need more clothes, somehow I can always justify a new piece of jewelry, and their pieces are very unique. And I like where this is going and what they're doing with it. I've really longed for it too, because from all the way back, one of the things that I appreciated about their style was how they accessorized their outfits. I like the brocade on the slippers, I like the lampshade hats, I like the asymmetry, but how I categorized it. The very first pull that I do is I look for house codes, and this picture really just encapsulates what they're all about. It's very dark, very neutral, not a lot of patterns, oversized, relaxed, boyish. And you look at this and you think, is this a summer collection? Yes, it is. It is if you are a diehard Row fan and you really don't care about the rules, about brightening up and lightening up in summer. I had the opportunity to try some of the coats in the showroom, and they're lighter and they breathe, and yeah, you may not be wearing it when it's 100 degrees outside, but maybe in the evening you take it with you, and that's the beauty of this, is they're buildable, and you can take some of these pieces into the fall. Of course, they have parkas because sometimes it rains in the summer. These are wildly light, like your K-way jackets, but cool. And the colors are really nice, and I really want one of them. It just doesn't fit in the budget because it has to go at the bottom. And the Dune jacket was in my pre-order. That one I don't consider quite a raincoat, even though it is. I feel like that deserves its own special category. And then the jellies. The jellies offered in these beautiful colors and bright accents to the all black outfits. And that's how I prefer to add color, is through an accessory, either through a shoe or a bag or scarf, gloves, something like that. And then finally, my wish list. This happens to me all the time. I will draft my wish list because what happens is, immediately, just like with everyone else, there are a few looks that stand out. But as time passes, inevitably that changes. And we have a window for pre-orders. I put my pre-order in, and it includes these pieces from the wish list, some of them, not all of them. And then by the time the items start showing up, which is this week, I have already changed my mind because I'm online and I see the spam, the Row spam, what people have picked up on and what they're liking. And the more I see of those items, the less I want them. And there are some looks that are very obviously more conspicuous than others. They're, especially the t-shirt under the dress. This look really does remind me of the way that we used to style dresses back in the 90s. The reason I like this now is because I'm older. And I mentioned in my previous video where I talked about my favorite t-shirts is that my arm is not my favorite thing to show these days. And so I like the length of that. I think that is going to be a look that's very much duplicated by Cause and Massimo and Zara and other places like that. In the same way the jellies were. Let's talk about some of the newness in summer 2024. Obviously, there's going to be replenishment of old favorites like Park totes and, I mean, everything except the Margot bag, which is going to be difficult for us to find going forward. There's an update on the Park tote, the tote hook bag, which has some hardware on it. And that's pretty nice. So for those of you that are looking for a little bit of variation from that classic, this is definitely a good way to go. And then we have the Mara tote, which is the mate to the Mara jelly sandals, in the silver and the gold. It's leather, it's not inexpensive. And for what it is, it makes me question whether that is a good way to spend my money, to put it into something like that. Right away, I would say no, but for those of you that have the excess funds and or have made space for something like this, it's kind of cool. I like it because it's still understated. Bags like this though, the fact that you can see through and you can see everything, I would always need to put some sleeve inside of it to make it more functional. And then we have the Alexia bag, and it's nice. It feels like it's an updated bindle. The hardware is nice, but I'm not drawn to it. I am drawn to it in the ostrich, but I think that's just because I like ostrich leather, and I'm not sure if this is my bag. I know there's a push for it right now. Bergdorf did a post dedicated to it, and a lot of my followers have asked me what I think about it, and it's nice, but it's not sure that it's one that I need. And that sunset clutch. The sunset clutch is one that I want, and one that I can afford because it has to sit behind the other bags, but if I could, I would. Sunset clutch is very Mary Kate, very bohemian, and I like the size of it too because it's unusually small for a Row bag and a Row clutch, and I think that's why I like it, because it's a little different. The Mel clutch, especially in that Saladin alligator. I like the size of it. I like it in that red as well. And then there's the Pim bag. It reminds me of the poly tote. I think it has the same weight, very light, long handles. I like the shape. I think it's a very functional bag and it's not going to break the bank. Then there's the Angie bag in new colors. The Belvedere drawstring bucket-like tote. I like that it goes over the shoulder. Other brands have done totes like this. And but I will say that the rose saddle leather is very special and their colors are very special. And I have a friend that really doesn't like the green that they're doing, and I love the green. I have that green in the Everett tote. And then of course we have the Margot East-West clutch, which I fell in love with the moment I tried on at the Reese, and the row team was around me and giggling a little because they said, you and your Margaux, because it's 17 inches across. There is a magnetic closure on the top. I just have to make sure that it will conceal my contents, because when I'm out in the evening, and I'll carry this during the day as well. When I'm out in the evening, I set my clutch down and I walk away, and it can't be open, and it has to, I hope it's not just one center magnet, and if it is, I hope that it really does seal the top. Wouldn't it be cool if somebody could design like a Ziploc closure for clutches? Wouldn't that be cool? And now for shoes. The Mara flats in the red, the pink, the blue, and the clear. I have my eyes on the clear. That's the pair that I'll be trying, and the reason is because no one, well, I shouldn't say no one, everything sold out and sold out quickly, but the clear pair, they were the last pair to sell out. And my guess is they're not going to be as popular. I think the wholesalers are going to pick up the red and the blue, and not that I don't love those colors, I do, but I just think that they will be kind of ubiquitous. So if I'm going to do the Mara Jelly, yes, I said if, it is a very trendy item and I really don't like trends, but it's intriguing, and I had them again, as I said, in the 80s. I had them and loved them, and actually I had them in clear when I was young. Maybe that's why the clear is calling to me, so I'm going to try them on. Feedback so far is that those shoes run true to size. Question is going to be the longevity and whether they're too trendy. The row being the anti-trend trendsetters, so they're everywhere. They're going to be everywhere. You'll see them on everyone, and will you fatigue of them? And but they were really something that stood out. There's also a heeled version, and I can't recall the proper name they gave it. It was on the pre-order sheets, I think. Basically, it's the style of the jelly set on a chunky heel, and it's made of leather, and there aren't any seams, so it's a very cool style. I slipped it on my foot. I think the showroom size was an 8, and I'm a 6.5, and I don't remember it being that comfortable, but I do love the look. And the soft knot flats and the soft knot heels, really 70s inspired, especially with that cork colored heel. I feel like I saw them on Chrissy on Three's Company. Maybe I'll try them on in the store, but I'm not sure that I need a pair of heels. I don't invest a lot in heels anymore. And then of course the Frances slipper. There's a closed toe version and there's the open toe version. The closed toe are the pair that I have set aside or have reserved with the boutique in New York. That's where I shop. The open toe ones remind me of the canal slides that they did in the velvet, and they were not comfortable. They ended up at the sample sale, and I tried them on there too, because it was just, you looked at the price and you thought, okay, please, like maybe at this price I can justify wearing them, but I put them on my foot, and the part where my toe meets the front of the band, it was so painful. I mean, unbearably so. And then I see them on other people, other influencers, and I wonder how were their feet made that they can tolerate it and I can't? I don't know. I know I have sensitive feet, but they just didn't work for me. And I've heard that they didn't work for others. Same way the Ginza didn't work for me, the suede version, at all. Incidentally, that was my very first review that I ever did years ago, and what started this channel was the Ginza sandal. I thought, let me weigh in on these very, very popular sandals that I see on everyone that my feet can't tolerate for more than 30 seconds. And here we are. Then there's the Gemma ballet slipper, and if you like toe cleavage, this is your shoe. They're very feminine. Not sure that I'll be buying them, but they're very pretty. And then there's updated colors in the canal. The cord sandal and with a charm, and then there's the charm sandal, which is the beach sandal with a charm. And so if you missed out on beach, a lot of people wanted the beach sandals and were asking me if they would be redone, and I think this is your opportunity to pick them up, and they have that little added jewel. Of course, with every season there's a new loafer. This one, the Tippy in the suede, and then the Davis in that woven leather, and then there's the line sandal. There's lots to discover. The Mila flats and the Clio bijou sandal, which are really comfortable. I put them on in the gold at the Reese, and they're really nice, but I just don't do that heel as often anymore, and I don't have a need for it. And now let's go through accessories, and specifically jewelry. This has to be my favorite category. And these flower earrings, I've had so many people ask me how to get a hold of them. The problem is these are in-store only, and you had to have reserved them. I don't know that there'll be any left, and that is probably going to continue to be the case with specialty pieces like this. But don't worry, know that there's another collection coming. They come out so fast I can't even keep up with the reviews. There's always going to be something else that you will love and you will find. And also, people give up their pieces from time to time. When somebody wants something new, they might give up something old that will then be new to you. Of course, I wanted to pull all the images with those elbow anchored arm bracelets. I have a real affection for them because I'm East Indian, and growing up I spent 11 years taking Bharatanatyam classes, and part of our costume, which they're very elaborate costumes, were these arm bracelets, cuffs that sat up, pretty much on the bicep. These are a bit lower, but set up there. Very Grecian, very Indian, and I like the simplicity though of this particular bangle. I like how they elevate all of these looks instantly. The toe rings, very excited about them. I did order them. Then the towels. The towels, I really didn't think they were going to be offered for purchase. I thought this was just something cheeky that they did for the runway for styling. And then when I went to the Reese, there they were. They're really nice and they're really thick. I mean, I don't know, the people who are buying it, are you buying it because you need a towel at home, or are you buying it because you want to wear it the way the models had it? And then if that's the case, where are you going in it? I mean, I don't think I would be wearing it that way. If I purchased their towels, it would be to have at home and maybe to photograph for the grid. We're actually in the market for bath towels right now, and my husband and I will go and we'll touch them, and he's very particular about how they feel and the weight. You don't want it to be so heavy that when you're, drying off, it feels like there's a lot. You overheat just trying to dry yourself off. And then also, I don't know if this has happened to you, but sometimes we buy a whole set, we put them to the wash, the dryer, and then you think the lint issue will solve itself within the first few washes. And then 6 months later, you're still cleaning the floors and wiping down counters, and there's like your hand is orange. It's just really annoying. So there's that. And then there's also absorbency. Some towels just push water around. Other towels absorb. My guess is, I've said all this, but I'm sure these towels are very functional, not just very beautiful, but very functional, and will actually absorb the water, and they look really cool, but they're not inexpensive, but they were sold out very quickly. Let's see if they bring them back, or if this is something that was just for the summer collection. Lots of sunglasses, and I can't really review things like sunglasses because everyone's shape of their face and their nose is different. Sunglasses work for me, a lot of them, because of my nose. It actually helps to have a bigger nose for sunglasses. One of the few times this is working for me. And there is a new belt, the gin belt, and I've done a review of belts. I did that a while back. And I don't think there's a need to do much more in the way of reviews for belts, because every year they're coming up with a new variation on the buckle and a little bit of a wider width or a smaller width. And I like the classic. If you were to ask me what belt to get, I still say go for the classic belt. And for ready-to-wear. Ready-to-wear, there's lots to look at. Lots of new updates on classics, but then there's also some new pieces as well. As I mentioned, there were a variety of parkas. The Dune jacket's the one that probably stands out and will be in all the editorials. I've already seen that in the wild on an influencer, and she had it cinched at the bottom so it can be worn a number of ways. A lot of the wholesalers will be carrying this one for sure. There's some new tees, the ones, especially the ones under the dresses. I've already received a lot of questions about Izzy tee and the Isha, and both of those are sold out already on the website. It was just surprising to me how quickly they sold out, because they're t-shirts after all, and they come at a hefty price. I felt them, they're thicker, the cotton is substantial. The Izzy top is one that I feel like you could probably do with another brand like Cause. I like where the sleeves hit for sure. That's like definitely a draw for me. And then I like the Isha top. I prefer the Isha top. That is the one that I pre-ordered because it will look nice under a dress, where the Izzy top will be cropped, and if you're planning on layering it underneath, it will bulk at the waist. And then there's some new trench coats, the Denver coat, the Eric coat in silk. But one of the looks that I'm really loving is this one, the Simo dress and the La Nuit pant. I just think this is very understated and elegant and pretty timeless. And with every season, there's a lot of improvements and variations on the essentials, new colors, and then there's also new styles, but really familiar because the Siska becomes a Cecilia. That's what changes from season to season outside of the runway pieces, like the new dresses and the Dune jacket and things like that. Outside of that, you're going to see updates on essentials, on classics, in new colors, in new fabrications, in slightly improved cuts. In summer, I like their silks. Their silks have been really beautiful. I picked up the Luca and the striped silk for spring, and I'm really enjoying that. And so I think it's worth spending some time looking at your closet and seeing what it is that you don't have and how you could fill the gaps. Again, if you have everything, I would look to jewelry and shoes and bags. If you invest in a bag and you want to sell it later, you will recover most of your money because they're retaining their value. Well, first of all, the thing that I have to answer, the test is, will I still love these items long after the season has passed? I love jewelry, so I'm not going to feel too guilty about investing in these. And of course the East West Margot clutch, because I mean, that is an impractical purchase, but I'm going to make sure I carry it and I'm making room for that. The problem is when I looked at all of this and did the math, there was an issue. I've looked at my budget and thought, I can't make it work. So things have to come off the list, and they will. And I'm actually working on some of the reviews for items from spring still. I am backlogged, and I tend to put them out as soon as I can. But I'm hoping that things like the Carrie loafer and the Hugo slides, things that I have now and I'm enjoying, become essentials, because my reviews are taking a long time to get to you. And I feel like if they're not essentials and I put them out in the next month and they never do them again, then it's only useful if you're looking at shopping pre-owned or maybe on sale, because spring isn't on sale yet. That is your summer 2024 collection review.